TechDorks. Welcome to the TechDorks podcast, where I, Rob Swindell, and my Canadian compatriot Stephen Hurd discuss things interesting to us and maybe to you, the listener. This show is an unscripted, unedited, unprofessional look into what interests Stephen and I. The only subject off limits are the three W's: wives, work, and World War IV. If you don't know the difference between bias and bios, then this show may not be for you, but still, we hope you enjoy.
Now, which type of bias are you talking about?
Any type of bias.
Well, I mean, there's like 10 types.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah, but that's different than bios.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, well, that's the main thing.
Well, you can say the difference between bias and bias just to really mess everyone up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think bias has a general definition of something you apply to something else that adjusts for, I don't know, differences.
Oh, a thing that adjusts for differences.
Okay. Calibration? I don't know.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't think of like when someone's biased as that being the same thing as when you say bias a transistor in an amplifier.
Well, I think when someone's biased, it means that when they come to any situation, they bring with them prejudices or tendencies.
Yeah, but that's hardly a DC offset, you know.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
So this is being recorded on Windows 10.
Oh,
hopefully.
Wow. I actually noticed in my recording that maybe I should have checked my levels first. My levels look a bit higher than they should be.
You sound
fine. We'll see how it works out.
You sound fine to me.
Yeah, there's a couple instances of clipping there already, so we'll see how it works.
Well, I am doing something a little bit different this time.
Oh?
And I'm recording a video feed as well. Screen capture and video capture of my face. Oh, and looking at the video now, I can see it's mostly of a big, fat microphone.
Nice. Beautiful.
You don't see much of my face, actually, now that I'm looking at it. Oh, well. But, maybe putting this on YouTube will, I don't know, help gain interest.
Because YouTube comments are well known for being a hotbed of intellectual discussion.
It's not the comments I'm looking for, just views, and might get people, oh, look, there's a podcast associated with this thing, and maybe I'll subscribe. We want subscribers.
I see.
I guess.
Can we even track that? Do we have a way to track subscribers?
I don't think so. Just be the number of people that pull down the RSS feed.
I suppose. But I don't know if they even pull it direct from us.
Right, iTunes pulls it, so...
I know that iTunes pulls it, but I don't know if they then pull it from iTunes or if they pull it directly from us. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the MP3 they definitely pull directly from us, but the RSS file, I don't know if that's actually cached by iTunes. I think it is. Might as well. It's so small. Because you can set the rate at which iTunes pulls us.
Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me. I had installed a Windows Store podcast app, and we weren't listed yet.
Ah, yeah. You might as well check now, since you have it installed.
I'm gonna check again. Yeah. Oh, and this is one of the Windows 10 apps that has the fourth window manager control. So you've got...
You want to use fourth for window manager control?
Well, there's normally three. There's normally close, maximize, and minimize.
Oh, the fourth button. Okay,
so there's a fourth one now, which is full screen, I guess you could call it.
See, I thought fourth the language.
No.
The stack-based push-pop one.
No. Yeah, we're still not showing up when I do a search for TechDorks.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Well, the Windows for Internet of Things is downloadable from GitHub now.
Are you talking about the Windows 10 for Raspberry Pi?
Yep.
Yeah, I saw that. News headline. I've also heard that it's very slow.
Really? On a Raspberry Pi?
Yeah.
Huh.
But, that was just one data point.
Well, I think it's not intended to be used as a full OS. I think it's intended for developing embedded things. Like you want to make a smart home controller type of thing. That's what it would be for, not, running Office or something.
Well, the test I saw was just booting to PowerShell. How long it took to actually get to a PowerShell prompt. And, I read like 8 to 10 minutes, which seemed kind of excessive.
It does. It does sound excessive hearing it third or fourth hand from you. Yeah.
At least. Maybe it was second hand. I read the exact quote from the guy, so you're now third hand if you repeat it to somebody else.
Yeah, so it was third or fourth. That's...
So last we spoke, we were both in line for Windows 10. And I decided to jump ahead, and I used my MSDN subscription to download the ISO image and burn to disk, but apparently you don't even need to do that. There's a public download Windows 10 link. So if you're waiting for Microsoft to push the update to you, you can skip that and download it sooner if you really want to. Normally, I'm not an early adopter when it comes to new versions of Windows. I put off Windows 8 for months.
Yeah.
I think you ran Windows 8 before I did.
Well, Windows 8 was actually purchased for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know exactly when it was, but I think it was fairly soon after Windows 8 was released.
I know it was before. Yeah, it was before me, and then it wasn't until I installed Windows 8 on one system. I think it was my personal system that I used the most, and it wasn't until I got Classic Shell. Well, actually, it's Classic Start Menu installed, which allows you to make it act a lot more like Windows 7. Kind of gives you the more old school Start Menu. And then you can take away like the charms and some of the other.
Well, how do you power
features.
it down if you don't have the charms?
There's a power control option from the Start menu, just like Windows 7. It looks a lot like Windows 7. That's what classicshell.net, I think, is the website. And once I did that, then I was like, okay, all the other benefits of Windows 8 were worth it. So I started, upgrading all the computers, not all, most of the computers, let's just say. Let me see, Classic Shell. And they also have like Classic Explorer or something, and something where you can make Internet Explorer act more like older versions of Internet Explorer. It was only the Classic Start Menu feature that I actually used.
Okay.
But with Windows 10, it looks like I'm not going to need that. So I did the in-place upgrade. I didn't choose to erase everything or even like format the drive and reinstall from scratch. I just did just the regular upgrade, and it did blow away the Classic Shell. So I guess I can uninstall that now because it's not actually using it.
Well, hopefully you can.
Yeah, I haven't tried. But one thing I noticed is it didn't save my power settings. So like I had the computer set to never go to sleep and never shut down, but to blank the monitors after an hour of non-use or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I noticed after I upgraded that I came back the next day and the machine was off or hibernated or whatever.
Hold on a sec, I got to check my computer. Well, no, it's responding to the network anyway.
Okay.
So it's not off. So I guess I do not have the same experience as you.
Yeah, and then I was looking for the setting to blank the monitor, and I haven't yet found it. Like it's not
looking with like the display settings and stuff?
Yeah. So personalize is kind of where you set like your screensaver.
No, like right click on the desktop and
that's what I
go
did.
properties, yeah.
Well, there's display settings and personalize. So display settings.
Well, hold on. I'm watching the little balls chase each other while I log in. There we are. Okay, right click on the desktop. There. Oh, wow, yeah, they split it into two. So personalize is where I would expect there to be.
I looked there too.
screensaver, and then from the screensaver there used to be a button that would take you to the power settings.
Yeah, there's lock screen.
Let's see, lock
background,
screen. That's probably
slides,
it.
no.
Lock screen, background, choose an app. Screen timeout settings. What's in there? There we are. Yeah.
Really? Where? Where do you see that?
The screen timeout settings.
I don't see that.
Okay, so
there it is. Okay, no, I scrolled further. I had to scroll further down. Okay. So what? They don't show scroll bars now?
I see a scroll bar on the right. It takes half a second to show up. It doesn't show up
I gotta
instantly.
get back to there. Okay. Lock screen.
Yeah. Lock screen.
There it is. Okay. Yeah.
You found the scroll bar?
I found the scroll bar. Screen timeout settings.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Which takes you into the settings system
power and sleep. Right. I've already
thing.
been here. So where do you see the thing to blank the monitor or turn off the monitor?
Well, there's screen when plugged in, turn off after X minutes.
I see. Got it.
Sleep when plugged in. PC goes to sleep after never.
Yep. Okay.
After never.
All right. So I missed it, but let me see. What else about the upgrade did I notice? I think a couple notes here. I noticed they moved the...
Yeah, it doesn't seem to have changed my power plan at all. Maybe yours powered off because there were updates. I mean, did like the
no, it was
update
because I went and
restart
checked. I went and it was definitely set to power off after an hour.
Okay.
Or, whatever the defaults were. It reverted to those defaults.
It didn't do that to me.
Okay. So what are your settings?
What I just read out.
Never. Oh, you have it set to never as well.
Yeah.
Huh.
Suspend after never.
I wonder why it changed on me. The mysteries of Windows.
Oh, hey, they just gave me an offer to try Office 365 for 1 month. It just popped right up on my screen. I didn't do anything. I was just sitting there. And I got a nice ad right from Microsoft.
Nice.
And if I right-click that, I cannot tell it to go away forever. Okay. So I just have a little X. I wonder what other ads are in store for me.
Yeah, Windows as a service. Sounds dubious.
Well, if they give it to me for free, I'm fine. It's not like I actually use it for anything. Oh, that was in the Action Center is where it showed up. Well, that's interesting.
Notifications. So another thing I noticed is the system tray. That's the lower right-hand corner of the screen. I think they call it notification area or something now.
I thought the system... Okay.
That's the system tray. And it used to have another little arrow there that allow you to control what showed up and what didn't.
Yeah.
So now, if you right-click, you right-click, you get a different menu depending on exactly where you right-click, and it's slightly different.
Each of those icons has different.
No, don't not an icon. Like right-click on the date time, for example.
Okay.
And you'll kind of get an idea of what that menu shows you. Now right-click to the left of the tray.
Like in the task manager pin
task
area?
bar, yeah.
Okay,
It's a very similar
exactly
menu. It's not exactly the same. I thought it was exactly the same as well. Now you'll notice if you right-click on the date time, you'll see it says customize notification icons.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, so they've moved that. That's the new place for it. And then once you go there, then you can control which icons show up and are always visible, or which ones only show up.
Oh, nice! They have little slidey buttons, just like my tablet now.
Yeah, they're copying Apple left and right. I mean, their website copies Apple, their marketing jargon copies Apple, the UI, all this black and white flat stuff.
Well, it's about time.
Apple. What do you mean? They're copying their Apple for 20 years.
Apple's been copying Microsoft a ton too.
Well, as far as the look, feel, usability stuff, it seems like Microsoft just always kind of tries to copy Apple and does a worse job of it.
I disagree, but I don't care that much.
Yeah. So I normally use Windows as my desktop.
Yeah.
I'm almost always at a Windows desktop, and you are usually, well, I guess you kind of split time between that and some kind of X Windows Manager, CDE or something.
XFCE 4 is the my preferred desktop environment. And yeah, I mean, I use Windows at work, but I don't really use Windows.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, Windows just happens to be the thing that I'll run one or two programs on, and then the rest of the day I'll be doing that.
Yeah, I'm often sitting at a couple different command line prompts, usually logged into some Linux distro or another.
Yeah.
Running PuTTY or SyncTerm.
I mean, as far as actually using Windows, I don't really do that.
Yeah. So I do. And I can, from first impressions of Windows 10 is that little changed, as far as the overall experience for me. It looks like they're trying to blur the lines between the old school native Windows apps and then the new Windows Store apps, what used to be called Metro applications or apps.
That was the secret code that nobody knew. They were never officially called Metro.
Well, a lot of people knew them as such.
Yeah.
But now, when you run a Metro app,
Vista is Longhorn,
and you run it side by side with
it's a Windows Store app.
A native app. Okay.
It's a Windows Store app.
Yeah,
not a Metro
they
app.
look more similar than they used to. The decorations of the window manager.
Well, it actually has decorations now.
You would have decorations before as well.
No, the Windows Store apps were always full screen.
No, not in Windows 8.1.
In mine, they were.
No, in 8.1, I was able to. You could get decorations, but it was still. They didn't look any similar to your standard Windows programs at all.
Okay, well, you must have had to ask for the decorations or something because they were never there for me. I mean, when I got near the top, some controls would show up, but they weren't decorations. I mean,
but
it wasn't decorated.
You could split the screen. Like I could make half my screen.
You'd have two full screens. I mean, it still wasn't.
But in one of them, I could have old desktop apps.
Oh, I never managed to get that.
Okay. Well, anyway, maybe I'm wrong, but that's my recollection. I didn't run a whole lot of the apps, whatever you call them, Windows Store apps.
Windows Store apps.
Okay.
At least that's what they call them in Windows 8. I don't know what they call them now.
Well, but the one that I did run, and I actually really appreciated Microsoft adding or putting it into Windows 8, was the camera app, because it was the first app where I could actually capture full frame rate from HD webcam with a secondary audio source. The audio source was not the microphones in the camera, but something else like this microphone I'm talking into now. And it worked. It worked really well. With Windows 8.1, however, they totally changed how you controlled it, and they took away some options. Like you could no longer control auto exposure. You couldn't disable it, for example. Now, with Windows 10, they again have totally changed it. And they've taken away the ability to choose a secondary audio source or a different audio source. Or if they still have it, it's hidden. It's how you control it. It's just you have to discover these things. You have to experiment and right click and double click and
no
drag.
Documentation.
And it's not obvious at all.
Did you ask Cortana for documentation?
No, I did not. I played a little bit with Cortana, but I didn't ask her for that. So now I'm showing, you can't see my screen, but if you run it and you got two cameras and you're using one, it doesn't automatically switch to the other. So I got to play a game, go into the software I'm using to capture the video, switch cameras, and then now I can go into the camera app. Where is it? Over here. I haven't done any customization of my tiles yet. Oh, and then there it goes. It gets, it's
a very good verbal demo.
Well, you can see it. The people that watch it on YouTube will be able to see what I'm talking about. I just switch between two different cameras, and but there's a settings dialog, if you will, or whatever you want to call it. It's kind of an overlay. It's not really a separate dialogue. It just kind of overlays some stuff, and you can scroll up and down, and you can change the resolution with the frame rate and turn on and off a couple options, but there's nothing in here for selecting another audio source.
Mm-hmm.
And whereas before, if you right clicked or double clicked the bottom area, that would give you some options. Nothing, and how you adjust the auto exposure and autofocus is totally different.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a zoom option where if you accidentally discover that you grab the screen and move the mouse up or down, I guess if you swipe with your fingers it do the same thing, then it focuses in. But I just discovered that accidentally. I was trying to control something else and accidentally scrolled the picture, and then it like zoomed way in. It was like, what the heck's going on? This isn't a phone.
It's doing exactly what you told it to.
Yeah, but it's not a phone, man. Don't force me into this paradigm.
It's not forcing you into anything. You're the one who started the app.
Yeah, well, give me another app then that uses more traditional controls, has like menus and stuff.
I'm sure you can buy one.
There are, yeah, the non-Microsoft ones. Yeah, sure, there are. Anyway, so that was a disappointment, at least so far anyway. The camera app looks like it's taken another step backwards from Windows 8.1.
Yeah, it doesn't really...
I know. Most people probably don't use the camera app on a PC. They probably use it on a tablet more likely.
Well, and really, I mean, just the whole concept of the camera app has always been sort of a silly toy to me.
Well, if you do a lot of stuff with video, and I do off and on, I like to experiment with the different applications, and one coming from Microsoft, and they know the driver model and the interface with the applications best. And they invented was a UVC 2.1.
Right, but presumably if you're doing a lot of video, you're not doing it with a webcam attached to your computer.
That's right? One of the things I do it with.
Right, I'm just saying that most videos are not shot with a webcam.
Well, I like the option. I have a lot of webcams. They're a relatively inexpensive way to get HD video into a PC, and they're convenient. So,
right.
And for me, being able to do what is on the box, so capture 30 frames or 1080p, is important. And for some reason, your audio went away.
Oh, well, I'm still here.
You back?
I never left.
Oh, I guess we had a resync.
Maybe. I did rebuild Mumble, so my hack from the other week isn't in it anymore.
Oh. Are you running 1.3.0 now?
No. 1.3.0 is an unstable release.
Okay.
I don't run unstable releases unless I feel like it.
Okay. So do you have any observations on Windows 10 you want to share?
Not really. I mean, the start thing reminds me a lot of my phone. That I find
because you have
interesting.
a Windows phone,
right?
So
and
it should remind you.
The all apps thing is just like the all apps thing on my phone. So I mean, right to the point where you click on a letter and then it brings you the entire alphabet, so it goes directly to that letter, which is kind of not nearly as useful unless you're touching it. But since it's also designed, it doesn't
seem to work with the keyboard though. I went to all apps and I hit S for something.
Yeah, no, you have to click on the letter. The letter's a button.
You have to click on the letter. So I have to in this one I have to scroll down to S.
What? No, just click on the A. So when you hit the start thing,
then click A.
Click A.
Then click S.
And then click S. And boom, you're at the S's.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, so it's just like the phone. And then the whatever they call the thing on the right, the live tile pane, that's just like the home thing on my phone, somewhat. I mean, the categories like life at a glance and those things, those aren't actually there. There's no categories on my phone. I expect that to come with the Windows Phone 10 update. But I think that's kind of dumb anyway, so I'll probably be removing that. Other than that, I mean, I'm not crazy about the icons. This PC and recycle bin icons are just stupid. I mean, they look like something from OS2 Warp. They don't...
Yeah. Let's show that icon there. Okay.
And then the... just looking at the default icons, there's like three looks and feels, right? There's the ones that are just white outlines.
Yep.
There's the
like
ones
the settings dialogue, or
yeah. Well, even just looking at the whole start bar thing, I mean, some things are just white outlines. Other things are solid colored shapes.
Yep.
And then, like, the Windows Store is an isometric thing. It's not flat. The other ones are flat. And then some are still the old ones, like the command prompt, which I've pinned to my start doodad, is still the old one, right? They didn't redo that one.
Yeah.
So they redid some of the icons in 3 different styles, and it's kind of odd. Yeah, the folder icon, the new folder icon I don't care for. I mean, but that's all cosmetic stuff, right?
Yeah.
You know, in the whole, I don't like the white outline, simplistic, silly thing.
It's like a huge step backwards. Like we went back 30 years in capability.
It's not a huge step backwards. It's just a complete change, except it's incomplete.
Yeah.
If they actually made it a complete change, I don't care. It's a style thing. But it's, you know, it's not consistent across the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right? The Edge browser is a colored one. It's the only colored icon by default, it looks like, on the entire start thing. And then you open it up, and it gives you a flat white and black interface, right? Everything's outlines in Edge. So why is there color on the icon? Well, because someone decided that it had to be a blue E, otherwise people wouldn't find the internet. I don't know.
I know.
You know, so
where
I mean,
did my internet go? And then they'd run Internet Explorer.
Yeah.
That'd be the E they would find.
Even programs aren't consistent in themselves, let alone the whole thing. And that
it is not consistent.
But I'm used to that.
Well,
you know.
Okay, so did you notice that the now to do like a soft restart of the computer, that's now under the power menu, so or whatever you want to call that menu item. The start, you go start and then power, and then there's a restart option.
Oh, good. That's where it used to be.
Well, no, it wasn't called. I don't think it was called power before. I think it was called shutdown. I don't think it was ever called power. So that's new. And then it's
a new name for the same menu.
Well, except log out or sign out, what they called it in Windows 8, is not there. Now you have to right click on your face or whatever you have your name at the top, and then choose sign out. So they've moved sign out from power down or restart to a separate menu where you can change your account settings, lock the computer, I guess, or sign out.
Actually makes sense.
It makes sense now, but why didn't they do it? If you right click on the start menu, you get totally different set of options.
That's the power menu thing.
Well, it says shut down or sign out. It doesn't use the word power now. And now shut down.
Well, there's power options.
No. Right click on the start button and then go to
shut down or sign out.
Right. So now they're all together.
Which has sign out. Well, they're in a different menu item, right? It's shut down or sign out.
But the organization is not consistent. The naming is not consistent.
I don't find that inconsistent.
Okay.
Because they have completely different names. One is power, and in that little menu is a bunch of power options.
Well, except for restart doesn't actually do what it says. It says it turns off your computer, turns it back on. It doesn't.
And the other one is the shutdown or sign out menu, and in there you have the shutdown, sign out, and things that are related to that.
No.
Restart and sleep.
No.
Yeah, I'm looking at the menu right now. That's what's there.
Yeah, they combine two, and it doesn't say
gave
power.
It a different name that describes the fact that it's combined.
And it doesn't say power anywhere on it.
No, it says shut down or sign out, and one of the options is shut down. I mean,
and
another one is sign out. I mean, that seems very well named and appropriate.
Well, why is it appropriate to have all 4 options there together on this menu, but not have it if you do a left click?
Because that's the power user shortcut thing.
Okay.
I mean, it serves a different purpose.
Oh, look at this.
2 menus serve different purposes.
Right click on the start.
I can't look at that.
I know.
Man.
You can do the same thing I'm doing. Right click on the start menu somewhere.
Okay.
The start bar, whatever it's called.
Not the start button?
Right.
The taskbar?
Yeah, taskbar. That's it. Go to properties.
Okay.
Okay, I love that. That there's one checkbox with the description: use Peek to preview the desktop when you move your mouse to the Show Desktop button at the end of the taskbar.
Okay.
Okay, so anyway, that seemed like a user interface faux pas. Go click on the navigation tab.
Okay, no, what was the faux pas? I don't...
There's like too many words for the localization of this menu or something. Like, the normally the checkboxes are aligned with the beginning of the description for the checkbox. the label.
Normally the checkbox is aligned with the beginning.
Yeah, if you look at the other checkboxes, the words that describe what the checkbox does are lined up with the checkbox. And in that one, they didn't. It's like centered between the two lines because they had such a long description.
They're all centered between all the lines. Okay. The other ones are only one line.
All right, so now look at the navigation tab.
Okay, navigation tab.
Yeah, all right. There's one checkbox. Replace command prompt with Windows PowerShell in the menu when I right-click the lower left corner or press Windows key plus X.
Right? That's very descriptive. I mean, what else would it say? I mean, that's exactly what it does.
When I right-click the lower left corner of what? Okay, I'm right-clicking the lower left corner of my right monitor, and it doesn't do anything.
Okay.
Well, actually, it pops up the normal desktop right-click menu, which is not what they're talking about. What they mean is...
Okay, this is the taskbar and start menu properties.
Yeah.
So, obviously, they're talking about the lower left corner of the taskbar and start menu.
Yeah, it doesn't say that.
It's the taskbar and start menu properties. That's the title of the window.
Okay.
I mean, you're not setting the window properties. You know, that's an excellent description. It tells you exactly what it does, rather than using marketing buzzwords. You know, I mean, they could say, use PowerShell from context menus.
Right.
That's, how the old Windows would have phrased it. They would have just done it like that.
They were more consistent.
No, because they didn't want you to know what it does. Right? This one tells you exactly what it's going to do. I much prefer this. And the use peek to preview the desktop when you move your mouse to the show desktop button at the end of the taskbar tells me exactly what checking that box is going to do.
What it tells me is that when the whole right-clicking, the left corner, or pressing Windows key X are so non-obvious that they have to have this one checkbox to go into this lengthy description of what those things do.
Right.
Because
so they have a checkbox with a description of exactly what it does.
It changes the behavior.
Right, and it tells you what it's doing.
Yeah, okay, you like it.
It's descriptive. I like that.
Yeah. Usually,
whereas that other one, that use peek one, back in XP, Vista, 7, everything, it just would have been use peek. Would be all they would say.
Yeah.
And you would have to
and there'd be a question mark. No, there'd be like a little question mark context-sensitive help thing where you'd click the question mark and click the checkbox, and it would then tell you.
I would not do that. I don't even notice those question mark things.
They don't even have it anymore. Okay, so...
What do you mean they don't? Who doesn't have it?
Microsoft Windows does not have it. The little question mark where you can get context-sensitive help.
I'm sure I can find it somewhere. They're so inconsistent that I bet you I can find a Microsoft program that has it.
Okay.
But,
yeah.
I mean...
Okay, so the other thing is I clicked one of these helps. Okay, let me try this. How do I customize taskbars? Let's do that for fun. Click that. And what does it do?
I don't know where you are.
Oh. The same dialog we were looking at, taskbar and start menu properties. The first tab. And then down at the bottom says, how do I customize taskbars?
Okay.
So click it.
Click that, and it brings up the browser and takes me to...
Bing, searching for, how do I get help in Windows 10?
And then it says here, enter a question in the search box, and you'll get answers from Microsoft, the web, and Cortana.
So it doesn't answer the question at all. I mean, they know exactly
what... It does. I just read exactly what it says.
Does it tell you how to customize
taskbars?
taskbars?
Enter a question or keyword in the search box, and you'll get answers from Microsoft, the web, and Cortana.
It already knew what context you wanted help in.
But it's telling you. It literally answers the question.
No, it doesn't.
How do I get help in Windows 10?
That's not the question. The question is, how do I customize taskbars?
Is that what it was?
Uh-huh.
Oh, so it was. Yep, that's dumb.
And then if you go to another menu and you find a similar thing, like I found another one that was, let me see, where was it? Anyway, I found a similar one where I clicked it, and it asked the exact same question.
That's a completely different thing.
Yes. And it resulted in the exact same thing. So there's little rough edges, but overall, it's worked pretty well.
Well, and those are the kind of features that I don't use, right? I don't use Windows, and so these type of things I don't use. I mean, I got icons on my desktop. I got the things I pinned to my Start Doohickey still in my Start Doohickey.
Yep.
And, everything else is pretty much where it was. The start thing is familiar to me from my phone. So, yeah, I mean, I kind of like it. Now, I'm not going to customize my live tiles the way I do on my phone because it's not the way I interact with it like it is on the phone, right? I'm not going to be clicking on the start menu every time I want to do something.
Yeah,
so,
that's not a thing
now,
I use
can
a
I
lot
get
in Windows.
rid of that search? Hidden.
Oh, yeah, you can.
Boom. Done.
Yeah.
Now I'm happy.
Yeah, Cortana.
Search is gone.
Hidden. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't go to Cortana.
Oh, that's how I did it.
Right-clicked on the taskbar, went to search, and selected hidden.
I right-clicked, and then I went to Cortana, and then
I don't even have a Cortana. Where'd you right-click?
Right-click on the unused area of the taskbar, and then go to Cortana.
I don't have that.
Oh, you didn't set up Cortana yet?
Why would I?
I don't know. Just to play with it.
Well, that means everything you say is going to be sent over the internet to Microsoft. I don't really want that.
Well, I can always turn it off.
Right, so I did.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to play with
also,
it.
I don't have a microphone on my Windows system.
It totally didn't work, though. So I ran it. I ran the setup. Well, I say it totally didn't work. I mean, it said a few things, and it showed me what things that it thought I thought might be interesting, like the Angels score. They lost. And then it says, ask me anything. So I click that. Let me see how it works. What time is the Angels game tomorrow?
Something's not right. Try again in a little bit.
Yeah, that's typical. That's about what I get from Siri anytime I really try to use it.
Maybe it's because you hit the badonks button before you ask the question.
Oh, I could try again. Oh, don't hit the button?
No, hit the button, then ask the question. Don't say words after you hit the button, except for the question.
All right, What time is the Angels game tomorrow?
Something went wrong. Try again in a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The first
Do you
time
even know what microphone it used?
Yeah.
Like, did it fill out the right question that you asked?
No, because when I first was doing it, it would actually spit out the words as I spoke them. Yeah. And it was always, every time I asked that question, what time is the Angel game tomorrow? It kept saying, what time is it in Jordan tomorrow? Or something like that. Or in Jordan. It kept giving me the time and date.
Your voice changes completely when you're talking to the computer. It's like you're talking to a 2-year-old child. Try just using your regular voice, like if you're going to ask me.
This is a test.
Something went wrong.
Yeah.
Try again in a little bit.
So, fail there.
Well, that could be your network settings.
Well, it worked. It worked at first. I mean, when I say worked, it tried to work.
Yeah.
Now I'm hitting X and it's not going away. I had another dialogue that was doing this. What was that? That was in Explorer. Right now, yeah. Let me see. Oh, Edge. Edge did something weird. When I went to Windows, their website. Let me see. I went to Windows 10. Is this the one that didn't work? Yeah. Oh, no, now it works. Well, I don't remember what it was. There was a Microsoft. There was a page on the Microsoft website that did not work correctly in Edge, but it worked fine in Chrome.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
Yeah.
Edge is a new browser. I mean, if Google came out with another new browser tomorrow, I wouldn't expect it to work on all the Google pages. But Google would call it beta, for the first 5 years.
So at least there isn't 3 Microsoft browsers. I was thinking there might be like 2 Internet Explorers like there was with Windows 8 and then an Edge, but looks like Edge is just the new style app, whatever, the Windows Store.
Windows Store app? It
Well,
doesn't really seem like a Windows Store app.
Now, how do you tell? They kind of blurred the line.
Well, here, let me open one and let me see. So I'll open the Photos app. And then I'll go to Edge. Well, Edge has got tabs. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I don't know where to... There's no address bar. Oh, there it is. I have to click on something first. Let me go to a web page. I know what it looks like. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. See, it used to be the Windows Store apps were the irritating ones that you didn't want to use, and the desktop apps were the good ones that you wanted to use. So,
yeah. Anytime you click some kind of document or file, and it opened it with a Windows Store app, the first thing you did was try to figure out how to stop that from happening the next time you opened it. It's like, no, I want to use the real Adobe Reader, not
Never use this again.
Yeah. How do I stop that? Yeah, so that I've had a lot of that fall back now. So now when I open like an MP3 file, it opens it in, I don't know, the Xbox player or whatever they call it.
Yeah, one thing I noticed is that Windows has gotten on board with the multiple desktop thing that I've constantly not used but has been available in X Windows. Every desktop manager has the multiple desktop thing.
Yeah, I don't use it either. I don't know if they had that in Windows 8 or if that's new in Windows 10, but I noticed some options.
I don't remember ever seeing it before, but yeah, like you right-click that show, or you click that show desktop, and there's a new desktop button that shows up, and you can go desktop 1 or desktop 2, and now I have 2 desktops and I don't know how to close it. Oh, there we go, a little X there.
Where'd you find that new desktop thing?
There's 2 little overlapping boxes just to the right of the start window.
Oh, where it says task view?
It doesn't say anything.
Oh, well, if you hover over it, it says task view.
Not to me. I hover over it and it doesn't say anything.
And it's just to the right of the start button window thing?
Yeah. It's like 2 overlapping boxes.
Yeah, and then when you click it, it like shows you all your applications in sort of small form.
In the bottom right, I see new desktop.
Oh, yeah, I get that too.
And
so
I
if
click that, and it adds another desktop. So now I have 2 desktops I can switch between.
Oh, I see.
And then I can close the desktop from down there.
Oh. Now how do I
You
go
hover
back?
over it and it gets a little X.
Oh, I get you. And then I click that and I go back to desktop 1, and then I get all my old... Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good boss key.
Yeah, so for people who don't have multiple monitors, they can pretend they do.
Or you have all your work open in one desktop and you have all your play open in the
Slacker
other.
open in the other.
Yeah, and you just have a hotkey to switch between them. I don't know what the hotkey is. It's just not Alt-Tab.
I wonder how one would find out without asking Cortana. Control-Tab? Nope. Windows Tab? Maybe it's Windows Tab? Nope,
Yeah,
that brings up...
next thing you know,
that brings up
your
the start
computer's going
menu.
to be rebooting.
Oh, because it's just the Windows button. Compose tab? I don't know.
Yeah, one thing we discussed before was how they had moved some stuff from control panel to settings. I know they did that in Windows 8, and they kind of seem like they're moved more stuff. So like user accounts. Let me see, what does that do now? Make changes to user accounts. Oh, okay, yeah. Then it switches to that other dialog. So now you have settings and control panel kind of have a little bit of overlapping functionality, but totally different look and feel.
Interfaces, yeah. Yeah, it's like they're slowly switching everything over to this flat, outline, stylized, dark view.
Yeah, flat. Flat is cool again. We went from flat
except
to 3D
sometimes
and
it's like a 3D
shaded.
flat. You know, like an isometric yet flat. Like the Windows Store icon is just horrid.
What I don't understand is why they like centered it in the dialogue. That's really strange. In the window, like really, no other windows work like that.
What's centered in the window?
The settings dialogue.
Okay, I start thing in settings. And what's centered?
Well, the icons, I guess, for lack of I don't know if they're buttons or icons or what you call these things. The graphics with the words.
They're not centered.
Yeah, they're kind of centered.
No.
Try resizing it. They move around.
Okay, let me try resizing it. Well, first of all, I can only resize in one direction. That's interesting.
That actually where it looks a lot better. If you resize it so small,
all the way to the left,
or whatever, make it small enough so that the icons get tiny.
Yeah.
Then that looks better. That looks a lot better. That should be the default.
Oh, according to us old fogies, maybe.
Yeah, I mean it's still totally different than the control panel.
Well, it is. You know.
And the control panel, that was really hard to find, but you right-click the start button and then go control panel. So.
That doesn't sound that hard.
Well, it's not once you know where it is, but when you don't know where it is, it's hard to
search.
find.
You go start, type in control panel.
Oh, okay. Let me try it.
And hit enter.
Control panel. Oh, because I'm already
Boom.
running it. It didn't do anything. Try it again.
I didn't even bring it to the front.
Control. Well, it was already in the front. Yeah, okay, that does run it. Also, well,
Yeah.
I mean, if you really know what you're doing, you do Windows R and then type cpanel. Oh, that's not. What is it? Cpanel dot. I say that now. That doesn't work. I forgot. Then it was. I thought it was called cpanel.exe. Never mind that advice. Don't do that.
If you really know what you're doing, then you know. But if you don't,
So I wonder what version this reports. Like when you do a get version API call, because WinVer just pops up a dialog.
what about just ver?
Ver says.
10.0.10240.
You see help ver. I think there's some secret options to the ver command.
To ver?
Yeah,
No.
I think so.
I don't think to ver. Maybe to WinVer. But I don't know, man. You know, it looks like it's, you know, they have a direction, but they just didn't go all the way there, which is probably why they went to the continuous updates, because they're going to finish it. You know, over
Yeah,
the
we
next,
weren't done yet.
over the next 10 years. You know, it's already better. You know, this is something you'll be happier to use. And it's just going to get better the more we work on it.
Doesn't this PC to me that looks like a Surface tablet, like attached to a monitor or something. I
It
don't
just
know.
looks horrible, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be one of those all-in-one PCs.
No,
It might
because the
be-
keyboard's separate. Oh, I guess that would be.
Yeah, the all-in-ones have a
yeah.
separate keyboard.
Yeah, that's right. But the stand is. Yeah, the keyboard looks like a Mac keyboard, and
It does not look like a Mac keyboard. It looks like a
very
PET
flat.
keyboard or a CBM keyboard.
very flat.
And the keys are all lined up
Doesn't look like a computer I want to use.
in a grid. It looks like a PET keyboard. Hold on, let me just bring up the Wikipedia and see if the PET had the same one as the CBM. I can't remember.
Oh.
Come on.
Here's Classic
Seriously?
Shell. If you're still running Windows 8, you probably want to check out Classic Shell, or specifically the
If you're
Classic
still running
Start
Windows
menu.
8, get the free update to Windows 10.
I'm not going to tell people they should, because things break. So the first thing that happened was I tried to run Audacity after upgrading to Windows 10, and you can see now I'm running
I
Audacity
can't
right
see
now.
anything, man.
The people that are
Quit
watching
telling
on
me
YouTube,
I can see things.
All
I
right,
can't
well,
see anything.
They'll be able to tell that I'm actually running Audacity, but it wouldn't run at first, and I had to start unplugging things to determine what it was that was causing the problem, and it was this Line 6. I have a Line 6 guitar interface. It's a Tone Direct. What is it called? Something Pod, I think. Anyway, it's an audio interface for guitar or microphone. Really, it's for guitar. And when I had that plugged in, neither Reaper nor Audacity would run. And apparently, that's like a new Windows 10 incompatibility with that device. So hopefully, they still will update the drivers or whatever. But in the meantime, I can't use it. And then I tried to just to experiment, see if my Tascam audio interface would work, and it does not. The drivers,
Your brand new one?
my brand new one, will not work with Windows 10. And they even had a new driver, a 1.01 version, and it doesn't work with Windows 10 either. So if the stuff you've got plugged into your computer is important to you, you may not want to update just yet. It probably was premature on my part, considering I do use this
Well, if
computer
your stuff is
for-
important to you, check if it's compatible with Windows 10 before you upgrade.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, a lot of times the companies will say, we don't know, we haven't tested, we don't support that product. That this guitar interface device, they don't sell it anymore. It's pretty old. And they're probably not going to update the drivers. Or if they do, it's going to be the drivers for some new version of that device.
Right, but it's just a high impedance audio input, right?
No, it has. It actually does the analog to digital conversion in it, and it also
Right,
applies
just like
effects.
any
You can
other
do
sound
real-time
card.
monitoring. Well, except it's external. Yeah, but it's
It's like a USB sound dongle, only it has a high impedance input.
and it has live monitoring, so you can hear yourself in real time.
What do you
with
mean?
no-
Like, so it's got
no
like a
latency.
headphone jack too?
Right, it's got a headphone jack,
Right, so it's like a sound card, only
And
it has
you
a
can-
high impedance input.
and you can hear the effect. The guitar amplifier microphone modeling that it's doing. The reverb, whatever effects you're putting on the guitar.
Right, but you can do that with the regular sound card too. I mean, it's not,
Okay, so it's just like a regular sound card.
except it has a high impedance input.
Okay.
That's the difference, right? I mean, all these other things a regular sound card can do.
Well, you're paying for the software.
You can't plug your...
It's the software. It's all the amp modeling and guitar modeling and microphone stuff. And anyway, my point was
does the software work with other sound cards?
No, it only works with their devices, but they have newer versions of this device. So it's possible that they'll update the driver for, a device they're still selling, and it just happens to be backwards compatible.
Right.
So they probably will never say, oh, yeah, that old device that you still own will work with Windows 10 because they want you to buy a new one. But if they do come out with a new driver, or maybe they already have it, I haven't checked, it might just suddenly start working again. But the Tascam, box, I just bought that a few months ago. And, they're absolutely on the hook to support Windows 10, or they're going to stop selling those boxes to Windows customers.
Windows 10 customers.
Well, yeah. Well, it's amazing.
Who's going to run Windows 10 in their studio?
Every computer, every Windows 8 computer that I've seen, with the exception of one, has had the little, upgrade free to Windows 7.
Yeah, it was a critical update.
Right. And the only reason why I didn't see it on the one computer is because I have updates deferred.
So you didn't get that important one.
Well,
the thing that's irritated me most about Windows 10 was that Get Office 365 for a month now ad that I just got.
Yeah.
That I find very irritating.
That is. It would be irritating, especially if you already own Office.
Well, then presumably it wouldn't do that.
Yeah. Well,
oh, wait. You mean Office or Office 365?
Either one.
Well, I'm sure if you already have Office 365, you wouldn't get that. But if you only have like Office 2010 or whatever the newest Office is.
No, they're newer than that, but yeah.
2014, whatever.
Yeah.
Then I could see them still giving you that stupid ad. And that's, not something. So, okay, now I have another notification that updates were installed. And I had no actual notification of that notification. The only reason I noticed it is because I clicked on that little, whatever that's supposed to be, text bubble. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like a little caption icon.
Yeah, so I clicked on that thing just to look at the stuff in the Action Center, and it's like, oh, we installed some updates for you. That I'm fine with, I suppose. I just wish they would have told me, that they were doing that.
Did you try SyncTerm yet?
Let me do that. Yep, just tried it. That icon did not work. Let me try this other icon.
It worked for me, but I installed it fresh.
Yeah, I don't know. No, that one crashed. I don't even know what versions these are, to be honest. Let's see. This is a shortcut to syncterm.exe into program files. x86. Is this a 64-bit version that I have here? It must be. I'm not even sure how you can find out. Anyway.
Well, now's your chance to plug the SyncTerm release.
That in there. What? I thought I already did that.
I don't think
the
so.
Last one.
I think we just released it within the past week.
Okay, so it looks like I have a build from February, which did have a known crashing problem.
Oh.
So, let's see. Let me just go to SourceForge. Where to next? Search or enter web address. Okay, I guess I'll do that.
I'm going to change the video output mode. So you say you like overlay. Overlay.
I do?
Well, it allows you to do arbitrary scaling.
Right, I don't really like arbitrary scaling. The reason I like overlay mode is it means I don't have to write code that does arbitrary scaling.
Yeah.
Which I like not writing code that I'm not interested in having. I guess is kind of the big thing for me.
So there was finally the SyncTerm 1.0 release.
Mm-hmm. And Rob provided an installer for Windows.
Yep. And, I don't know. Did you want to rev that to address any issues, or just leave it the way it is? The installer. It overwrites your syncterm.ini file.
That's up to you, man.
Well.
Okay, so I can pause or cancel the download. 100% of SyncTerm 1.0 setup exe downloaded from 1 second remaining. So it's at 100%. There's 1 second remaining. And I have pause and cancel and X. So I really don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, the first time I downloaded it, I think I used Edge. Anyway, and it totally ate the file.
Yeah,
it just disappeared completely.
Well, it hasn't finished downloading. Oh, now it's running a security scan. So it just took, like, however long that was, 10 seconds or something, to not do anything. So now it's finished downloading. I have run and view download. So I click run, and another long wait. Even longer.
You still have a link to the old Windows installer on syncterm.net.
What do you mean?
Well, it says download binary for OS, and it says Win32, and then it's got the installer provided by Roughnecks. And
yeah.
Well, that's not the installer you want to use.
No. And I'm pretty sure on that page it says, the unstable use at your own risk versions are linked below.
It just says download binary for.
I'm pretty sure above that it says...
It says stable releases are available from sourceforge.net, but doesn't... Yeah, well...
If you don't want a stable release...
Okay, so you want to go to SourceForge. That's where you want to get the...
Yeah, that's where the releases are.
1.0
yeah.
setup.exe for Windows.
Mm-hmm. That is the official one to use.
And,
okay, yep, now it works.
I had a hard time.
Awesome.
I had to tell it, yes, I really trust it. Let me see, how do you do that? There's a weird thing.
Well, maybe you just didn't wait out that whatever that long delay was after the download. Oh, that's right. This changes my preferences.
Finish download. So if you click run, I think the first time you try to run it, it won't let you. So yeah, I trust it. Yeah, it worked this time. Anyway, it's like you have to click like more or help or something, and then say run anyway.
Yeah, no, I didn't have to do that, but I waited it out. You said the first time you downloaded...
Well, that was different.
It just ate the file.
Yeah, just the file was totally gone. Then the second time, it actually downloaded it, and then it told me, this is an untrusted file. I don't want to run this. And then there's like either a help or a more.
And the second time you also downloaded it from Edge, or...
Yeah, same browser. I just did a...
And then did you use the run button, or...
It wouldn't give me the run button. So I had to like click more or something like that. Like I had to run it from, the downloads folder.
Yeah, I actually got a run button when I waited long enough, but I had to wait. Well, and it basically it sat there saying it was done downloading, and I still had to wait while it checked it.
I wish I had a video capture of that. I could relive it, say exactly what happened. But I know
I still couldn't see it.
Yeah,
and then you could just
Well, I'm capturing the video for posterity. People can see it later.
Yeah,
I don't think I'm going to put the video online tonight. Probably too much work.
Way too much work. Well, especially because you're going to want to mix the podcast audio into the video rather than...
Well, at least I'll have the audio first, and then all I got to do is synchronize it.
Right.
Do one sync event, and that should be fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's Windows 10. I mean...
Yeah, it doesn't deserve a new name.
I think it does. It's better than 8. It's different than 8.
It should have been called 9 or 8.2 or, I mean...
I don't think it's 8.2. I think it's different enough to 8 that it's something different.
Well,
I mean, I could tell that I booted into something different. So, yeah, go ahead and rename it. I mean, there's a new Firefox release every 6 days or whatever. I mean, there's new... The last few OS X releases have had, like, no visible changes. I mean...
Those are the best kind. They're under the hood.
Then why have a new version if it's exactly the same?
It's not. I mean, if it's a difference in the network stack, you wouldn't see that.
Well, the Windows 10 has differences all over the place. You just can't see them.
Yeah,
I mean, you're judging Windows 10 as not being different enough.
Why just skip 9, though?
Because Windows OSs that start with 9 suck. 95, 98, they're all terrible.
I liked Windows 98. I ran there for a long time.
I can't say I ever liked it. No, there's very few Windows that I can say I liked. I liked Windows 2000, NT 351. I like that one. That might be it. Windows 311 for workgroups. I like that. I had no complaints with that. Yeah, that's probably about it.
Well, Windows 98 was a better,
DOS.
it was a better DOS multitasker. I don't know. I guess OS 2 was pretty good at that too, but it was certainly a huge step up from Desk View or anything else I'd tried before.
Yeah, I think 95 was better than Windows 3.1 for sure.
And Windows 10, I guess, I don't know what they call that. Like internally in Microsoft, do they call that a version or is just the new marketing name? Like
A release?
XP and Vista?
I'm sure they call it a version. I mean...
Yeah, well, they did the horrible thing with the version numbers with Windows 8.1. Wasn't it 8.1 that started lying?
I think it was 8.1 that started lying, yeah.
Yeah. So, it tells you that you're running the version of Windows that you built your application for, not the actual version of Windows that's running.
Or 8, whichever is higher. Or whichever is lower. Whichever is right. No,
it's never whichever is right.
No, if you build for Windows XP and you ask, it'll say it's Windows 8.
Yeah.
And if you build for Windows 8 and you ask, it'll say it's Windows 8.
Yeah. If you're running it with 8.1. And if you build for Windows 8.1 and you run it on 8.1, it'll say 8.1. If you build it for 8.1 and you run Windows 10, I presume it'll still say Windows 8.1.
Right.
Or
so it'll go all the way up to 8. And then it'll stay at 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not 8.1 and higher will lie. Sometimes.
I'm assuming you don't have a thing like in sync term to tell you what version of Windows you're running.
I don't care what version of Windows you're running.
Yeah. I wonder if Mumble has a...
I have a thing that says what version of SyncTerm you're running. Now I have 3 icons on my desktop for SyncTerm. That's interesting that the installer installs a new icon.
Just keeps giving
well,
you
actually, I don't know where they all came from, to be honest. So, I mean, it's entirely possible. So that one was 6 minutes ago. And this one was February 7th, 2014. So... yeah, it looks like the installer will add a new identical icon.
Oh, well, how many times are you going to reinstall it?
Me?
I don't know, anybody.
Well, anybody or me? Because we're two different people. There's me and there's the other guy who runs SyncTerm. So
no, there's a lot of people who run SyncTerm.
I know, it's horrifying to me.
But they can always delete the extra icons. I don't know, that might be something I can adjust in the installer. Tell it not to add more icons if there's already one. But maybe they point different places.
Or replace the existing one or something. I don't understand how they have the same name.
They right-click and look at the properties. Maybe it's in a different location or...
the icon's in a different location?
Maybe. Like one's in... yeah, because your desktop is actually a collection of files from 2 different places.
All right. Oh, yeah. One's C user's public desktop and the other C user's Steven desktop.
Yeah, there you go. You have a...
so the Steven desktop is from the old install.
You have a merge.
Oh, but it was modified today. Oh, they were both modified by that installer. That's interesting. No, 1 minute ago. No, I just modified it when I looked at it, is what it appears to be. Yeah. Interesting. Anyway, yeah, that's interesting.
Now, I have not tried to run Synchronet on it. I'm kind of assuming it'll run
let me
fine.
just double-click that. Windows cannot access my server. Oh, my network shares went away. Oh, that's interesting. Net use. S is there. Why can't you... what? It's totally there. You do not have permission to access... Illumitron, Synchronet, SPBS, Exact, SPBS Control. Huh. That's very interesting. Looks like they've further complicated the whole...
total dork.
oh, that's even more interesting. The targets actually drive S, but when I try to run from there, it tells me that I cannot or Windows cannot access. It doesn't tell me I can't. That's very weird. So it's SBBS control. Access is denied.
Huh.
That's very weird. What if I
Well,
run it as
I definitely
administrator?
will be installing Synchronet, if not on this machine, then another. And
How can I? I can no longer right click a thing in the start bar task thing and run it as administrator.
Oh, I have mine shows up. Most used. I look at the most used list. I can right click on those and say run as administrator.
Right, but ones that you've actually pinned, the one that's actually already on your screen, and you don't have to do anything else to use.
Oh, you mean on the taskbar itself?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a pain. Yeah, you can't do much with those. I don't know why you can't get a properties menu.
I used to be able to run those as administrator, I'm
I
sure.
don't think so. You have like unpin, close, and that's it. You can open another one. It's like three
I'm
options.
pretty sure with
No.
Windows 8 or 8.1, I could run it as administrator. Otherwise, why would I bother pinning it there? Oh, and my drive map, when I run as administrator, my drive mappings aren't there.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had that. Yeah, usually that's the case.
And for some reason,
That's not new with Windows 10.
I don't have permission to run an executable from
That
my
I
drive.
don't know.
That's very weird to me. I mean, I can
Security.
open it. I
It's
can
more
open
secure.
files, but I can't run files.
Windows
from
is
there.
more secure now.
Oh, good. They added
fixed
more
it.
secureness.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
If you want a secure computer, don't put it on the internet.
That would be a good thing. If you for special. Okay, yeah, I've got no permissions. I've got special permissions, but I don't have read and execute. What? This thing's dumb. Allow full control. Allow wheel. I'm logged on. What? Okay, at some point I'm going to have to figure this out.
Anyway, so you don't care if it doesn't work right.
Well, part of the reason I have Windows is so I can test Synchronet on it.
Yeah.
And if I can't run the binaries I build, or if I can't build the binaries, that's horrid.
Well, let me see. I'll map a network drive. Let's go ahead and do this. Well, that's weird. Why did it?
Yeah, weird, huh?
Well, I just didn't default to what I wanted it to.
Anyway, that's a strange thing. I don't know if it's my Samba configuration or what, but it's weird.
Well, let's not fumble through it with everybody listening.
Yeah, no, I don't care.
Okay.
I mean, I have to do it before I do the IPv6 stuff, but not until then. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's enough for Windows 10 for now. I think we can always give more findings later. as
Yeah,
we
we're pretty
discover
much at an hour
things.
now.
Yeah.
So did you want to do a Synchronet tip?
I probably wouldn't normally run a 64-bit edition of Windows if I was going to run a Synchronet BBS just on that machine, with the exception of if you run the Pro version of Windows, then you get a hypervisor, which virtual machine manager that allows you to run another instance of Windows within that hypervisor, or within Windows. You get Windows within Windows, and then run a 32-bit version of Windows 7 or XP, whatever you prefer, and then just run your BBS in that. And then you get your 16-bit DOS doors or any other 16-bit utilities you want for your BBS. And I do that. It is slower. It's not as fast as running on the native version. Yeah, but I do enough other things with my computers that I don't want to restrict them to 3.5 gigs of memory, and now it's memory's cheap enough, and there's certainly enough uses for me anyway with video editing and HD video editing where I really do need that additional memory. And if I just had a dedicated computer that all it do is run the BBS, then certainly I'd just run a 32-bit version of Windows, and Windows 10 should be just fine for that.
So the tip is, don't run a 64-bit version of Windows for your BBS.
Unless you're going to have a dedicated computer just for that purpose. And then, you want to save power and space, you could just make that dedicated computer a VM run it in, VMware or something.
And then in that VM, run a 32-bit version of Windows.
Exactly.
So don't run your BBS on a 32-bit, on a 64-bit version of Windows.
You can. You're going to be limiting yourself to only 32-bit programs. I know that sounds confusing. 64-bit versions of Windows can run 32-bit programs, no problem. And that includes the JavaScript stuff that's made for Synchronet. It's just your 16-bit DOS programs are not going to run correctly. I mean, you might be able to get them to run with something like DOS.
You just gave the impression that the JavaScript programs are 32-bit programs.
No, they're scripts that run within the context of Synchronet, which is a 32-bit program.
Unless it's a 64-bit program.
For Windows, I only build 32-bit.
Do we support 64-bit?
No, you cannot build Synchronet, a 64-bit Synchronet for Windows executable. I mean, I guess somebody could modify the project files and build it themselves, but I don't.
Oh, okay.
So if it works, it's just coincidentally or whatever. But
yeah. Well, we've been supporting 64-bit on Linux and FreeBSD for years.
Yep, we sure have.
And for those, I recommend 64-bit.
Yeah, I do too.
Another tip in UIFC applications like SCFG and Echo Config, and I think there's another one, the right mouse button is the same as pressing escape.
And all those programs you mentioned will prompt you if you want to exit the program, but not sync term.
Every one of them prompts to exit?
Yeah.
Why else would I press escape if I didn't want to escape?
You might be like 4 or 5 levels deep, and you hit escape 5 times, and you on accident you meant 4 times, or just keep hitting escape until you get all the way to the main menu. You don't want to hit it one too many times and have it just boot you out.
Well, then you just don't do that.
Well, they all prompt. I don't know. It never bothered me.
Do they? I thought it only prompted if there was changes. No? Yeah.
No. It always prompts.
Huh. I wonder what the help is for that.
It will prompt for save changes if you're exiting a sub menu and it needs to save. It'll ask if you want to save, but that's
and different. There's extensive online help in SCFG for that exit menu too.
Ooh.
Exit SCFG. If you want to exit the Synchronet configuration utility, select yes. Otherwise, select no or hit escape.
Wow. I had some extra time on my hands.
That is some comprehensive help there, man, because that is absolutely not a self-descriptive prompt there. Can I say this same thing in more words? All right, I think that's all the time we have.
Yeah. And all the energy we have to expend.
I got lots of energy, but I just, sick of going over time all the time, so.
Yeah.
How about that outro music? You got that all queued up?
I do.
Awesome.
Hopefully it's not too loud. Yeah. Sounds really good.
It does. That band, we need to pay some usage rights to that band, I think.
Or find a cover version that, a cover of the cover.
That would be better.
Record my own.
Okay, good night.
All right. See you next week.